Okay.
content down the drain,
No,
gone forever.
I just pressed the button, so
Oh,
now we're
Jesus. And
yeah.
now it's out of now no one will wonder what we were talking about. They'll wonder
No.
about that beautiful content we were recording
Yeah.
before we clicked the record button.
What's alright?
Wow.
No,
Good
it's
thing they listen. Good thing our millions of listeners listening in their leisure are willing to accept any of all of our faults because they love us so much,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, so many
Yeah.
yeah,
So many
all
followers,
yeah.
all two of them.
Hey,
You and me.
we have more than 2, but
Oh
less
well,
than
wow.
10. So, you know, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, today we're supposed to talk about Daredevil Born Again episode 1, 2, and 3. But you said you had a rough day, buddy. What's going on? What's going on? You doing okay?
Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
um.
yeah.
So what
Nos-
happened was today I got recruited into something. I was told like, okay, there's like a shed with like 4 cats. The neighbor wants to take 2. We'll figure out what to do with the other 2. Okay. And I'm like, okay, no problem.
mm-hmm.
When we get there, I get a ladder. I go up to the rafters. There's like 15 to 16 cats in the shed.
All right.
And they've all been abandoned by the previous owner of the house. So yeah, so I had to spend a lot of day doing a lot of manual labor tearing down these cats' house, so they had minimal places to hide, so the animal control person can come and grab them. And I also helped out with like just wrangling cats. So that was a long day, and I'm tired. And I woke up early to walk my dog because I thought I'd be sitting around an office not doing anything all day.
Mm.
And it's just people don't abandon cats, especially and don't like stuff 16 of them into a shed. Just don't do that. And then, yeah,
Yeah.
it's
I mean, people are still gonna do it because people are scummy, but
yep.
yeah.
Hopefully none of our viewers anyway. But yeah,
Yeah.
don't do that.
Yeah. Don't
And
do
so
that.
that was my day. So I'm gonna skip out on doing some more role play, which is something I really enjoy doing. That really helps me chill out because I'm just so exhausted.
Yeah, I've been pretty exhausted all week too, but not because I've
Yeah.
had to go find abandoned cats. I just have been having to wake up at 4 a.m. every day, and time change and all.
Yep.
Sometimes 4 a.m. feels like 3 a.m. But yeah,
Yep.
so
Getting up early to go to the gym.
yeah, because I have
Just
late meetings. So like normally I'd work like 6 to 3 and then go to the gym, but I have meetings like past 4, and
yep.
so I don't want to go to the gym around 5 because that's a nightmare.
That,
So
that's when
in,
everyone's there. Yep.
instead of going at 5 p.m., I go at 5 a.m. And I still get to
Yep.
work at like 6:20, 6:30, and I'm there till like 4:30. So
Doing the real man lifestyle, the alpha male lifestyle, as they would call it.
yeah,
Going full
no,
alpha.
no, it makes like I swear in like 3 hours I'm gonna be so tired.
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
I'm gonna
Waking up
be
that early.
falling asleep.
Waking up, we're supposed to wake up like we're built naturally to rise with the sun. That's just how it is. Like 6 or 7 a.m. is the perfect wake up time for like human beings. Like all these people are like, oh, I'm waking up at 4 in the morning to go for a fucking 10 mile, 40 pound rack run. I'm like, all
No,
right,
I don't
buddy,
do I don't do that.
you
I don't
break
do
yourself. But I'm glad you're just like adjusting because you obviously love the gym. I would just stop going to the gym when I got these late meetings and
that.
take kind of a
No,
break, enjoy your
no.
physique and everything like that. You can do that. Sometimes you're allowed to take breaks.
Um, no.
No,
I
okay.
don't think that way. Like I have to have a certain mentality to make it so that I don't allow myself to fail simple things, Like sometimes people like it's they know that their workout plan is like 4 days a week or whatever, right? And they might be on that fourth day and they might go, I don't feel like going to the gym today, and then they don't go. I can't think that way. It never crosses my mind. I don't feel like going because I've already accepted I'm going. You know, like that's the mentality I put myself in so that I don't let myself down. Just
Yep.
I
Yep.
know I'm going, so I don't. It's not like a question. It's the same reason why I wear this shirt every Thursday to work because I don't have to think about it then, right? I know what I'm wearing Monday. I know what I'm wearing Tuesday. I know what I'm wearing Wednesday. I know what I'm wearing Thursday, and I know what I'm wearing Friday. Don't have to think about it.
Yeah, I wear the same outfit every day, and then I just wash it once, and then it's good to go. I just have jeans and like a polo shirt that I keep just folded and unfolded, and I don't do any like hard intensive anything in them, you know. And I just don't know why I gotta change my shirt every day.
Uh,
And then
yeah. I mean, I do walk. On my lunch break, I walk for like almost like 45 minutes. So I might get a little sweaty. So and also
yeah,
just being out around people all day. So I wear different things every day, and then I wash my clothes once a week, and I repeat the
yep.
cycle following week.
How
So
often do you wash your sheets?
it depends. I'm really lazy with sheets, but we try to wash them like every couple weeks. But doesn't usually work out that way. So sometimes we'll just change them.
Yeah, I try
um,
to do weekly. I was doing weekly for a bit, but that was starting to burn me out. Like every Sunday or Monday, I would like dust all my areas, and then I would clean my cat and my dog's bed with like a head attachment to my
mm,
freaking vacuum little hand vac.
yeah,
And then I change all the sheets and do all my laundry, but like it would eat up the whole day, and it was just bumming me out doing that every week, you know. So now I'm doing it bi-weekly instead. Well, I'm doing my laundry weekly still, but
yeah.
you got to
Uh,
find a good balance between chilling and like working way too hard because it's the future and our lives supposed to be more chill than those that came previously. So yeah,
yeah.
don't forget how essential that is.
It's not that chilled. It's not that chilled.
Yeah.
So,
Anyway, Daredevil, talking about chill, not chill.
uh huh.
Daredevil, or is there any news you wanted to yap about?
No, we
I
can
gotta go
just talk about
at some point.
Daredevil.
Okay, at some point, I need to go grab my food,
Okay.
but
All right.
I'll let you know when it gets delivered.
Okay.
Uh,
Yeah. So Daredevil Born Again, right? It was originally supposed to be its own thing. It later became an extension of the Netflix series, and you can definitely tell where they kind of shifted the focus. I think
mm,
um, because originally I don't think Karen and Foggy were gonna come back, or at least not the actor and actress who played them were gonna come back. But obviously they wanted to come back, and they did, kind of. Before we get into it, spoiler warning. Well, we're gonna spoil everything. So if you haven't watched it, we're gonna um, but yeah, the first three episodes. I mean, Karen and Foggy are pretty absent.
yep.
So um, there are some things to get out of the way, right? First of all, the CGI in the first episode is really bad,
Yeah.
like really bad. Um, like even just like some of the acrobatics, like they tried to use CGI, or him just standing on a rooftop for like a shot was like CGI. It was it was really rough CGI.
Yeah.
Um, but that's like one of the very few complaints I have. Um, we'll kind of work through the story here, but essentially we start with our heroes. We see Matt, and we see Foggy, and we see Karen, and then they're gonna go celebrate at the bar, the old bar, and they're there. And while they're there, one of Foggy's like witnesses, I think he's in like witness protection.
Mm.
He thinks like someone's breaking into Foggy's apartment where he's staying, and so Matt's like, I'm gonna go check it out. I'm gonna put on my costume. I'm gonna go check it out. And while he's doing that, Bullseye shows up. Benjamin Poindexter, Bullseye from season 3 of Daredevil.
Yep.
And he shoots Foggy, and Matt, Daredevil obviously comes back, and while it's a very chaotic kind of fight. They do this one take shot thing that they've done throughout Daredevil. Like every season has like a one shot take of Daredevil fighting, and so they do that, and part of, like it's a good fight. and like it's more thematic though, like than the fight is like important. Like the fight itself is like kind of whatever. The choreography is kind of whatever, but it's thematic because it's like Matt is just listening the whole time to Foggy's heartbeat, and like that is supposed to like build this anxiety in the audience, I think. Um, to the point where eventually, right, he gets to the top of the rooftop of Bullseye, and you know, Foggy's heart stops beating, and Matt is he's not cool with that, and he throws Bullseye off the rooftop.
Yep, he kills
Um,
him or something.
well,
Or
he
no, he
doesn't
doesn't.
he doesn't die, yeah, but
Yeah.
he tries to kill him. Um, and this is the catalyst for pretty much where we go from here in the series. Um, it was kind of reminiscent a bit of this this Daredevil comic from like 2007, 2008 ish, called Shadowland, where at the beginning of it, Daredevil is fighting Bullseye, and Bullseye, like, he's taunting him a bit, and then Daredevil breaks both of his arms, and Bullseye's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, you don't kill people." And then he grabs like a sai, like one of Elektra's sais, and kills
Yep.
Bullseye with it, the way that Bullseye killed Elektra with it. Um, and that's like the start of Shadowland, and then the story kind of goes off the rails from there, where he becomes like the leader of the Hand in the underground of New York, and all the other street level heroes like Moon Knight and Iron Fist are like, "Bro, what the fuck is wrong with you?" And he creates like this prison system where he like locks them up, and then you find out he was like just being mind controlled or some shit, which is just kind of dumb for a story that could have been really cool. Anyway, yeah, the whole time I was watching it with Bullseye on the rooftop, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna throw him off. It's gonna be kind of like a Shadowland kind of reference thing, right?"
Yeah.
Um, so there's that. Yeah, Foggy is like properly dead. Um, and then you find out Bullseye is not dead. He's still moving around. Like I said, the CGI is really clunky. And then we have a time jump of a year since Foggy's death, where we pick up from there. But just initially, what'd you think of the start of the show? Were you like, holy shit, or were you just kind of like, well, okay,
I
whatever?
think the start was very dramatic. I had heard too, like the same story that like, okay, they weren't originally supposed to be in the show at all, So I don't know. It's just everything just seems a little low quality to me. Like you talked about the CGI, but I don't know. It just seems like everything feels a little low. Has been feeling a little low quality to me from either like the writing or from like the set pieces or from like the acting or just everything. Just something feels a little off. Like for most of the episodes that I've watched so far. I think that's where the main problem that I'm talking about that I have personally.
Yeah.
Um, um, Now, I still said like Foggy's death, like it was very dramatic. Like he heard his heart not beating, all that stuff, threw him from the rooftop. That was all great, it was fine. And then like I forgot the character's name, female character's name. What's her
Karen?
name? Karen. Yeah, I was like, okay, I'm like, they're there. They cut to them like in court, like him accusing him in court and all that kind of stuff. And then Karen leaves him in like the courtroom. He's like, hey, I'm leaving. Bye. I forgot what exactly she said. But basically,
Yeah.
she said like, "I'm leaving. Bye." She left.
So yeah, so pretty much after Foggy dies, Karen, she isolated herself. She ended up moving to San Francisco,
Hmm.
which has some potential implications because there are some comic book storylines where she's in San Francisco. Um, but who knows if they'll actually follow through with any of that. But yeah, Matt Murdock testifies against Bullseye, and Bullseye gets sentenced and all that stuff. But since Foggy died, Matt Murdock has retired as Daredevil, and he's trying to do some good, and trust in the system. We see Vanessa is back. Vanessa was Kingpin's lover in the Netflix series. She's back now, pretty much running the underground. In the absence of
I'll be
Kingpin.
right back.
Yep. You're good. We also get the insight, which we already kind of knew, that Wilson Fisk is running for mayor. Um, And this whole time, really, I'll wait for Chair to come back to talk about that. But I get what Chair is saying about, the show feeling kind of low quality. It does in some ways, but I think that it makes up for it in its ability to tell a story that kind of keeps you on the edge of your seat, and builds this anxiety and builds kind of like this tension, right, of waiting to see what's going to happen next. And that's something that I appreciate about it. And because of that, I haven't really had the time to think, do I really like this, or do I not, or is it good, or is it bad? It's just it's engaging for me. So I've been just enjoying that. But yeah, there are parallels being drawn in this episode, massively, between Wilson Fisk and some real world things. You know what I'm saying? And also, obviously, between Fisk and Matt Murdock as well, right? Like, their stories are kind of mirrored in a lot of ways, and in their past, right? Both of them seem to be moving on from their prior lives. Matt is no longer Daredevil. Fisk is no longer interested that much in being Kingpin. He's more interested in trying to change things as the mayor, right, in a legal way, separating himself from all the illegalities of his former life. So he and Matt are both moving in a new direction, with little.
I'm back.
Okay, good. I'm talking about the parallels here, like the stories of Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk are kind of mirrored throughout this first episode. And it comes to a head when they end up meeting up and kind of talking about how they're moving on from their former lives. And there's a lot of very thinly veiled threats within that conversation as well.
In the diner for sure.
Yeah. Which was, I thought, I was also saying pretty much like, I haven't really thought about how good or bad the show is, or how much I like it or dislike it yet, because I just feel like, for me, the show's been very engaging. Like, it keeps you on the edge of your seat a lot and tries to build this tension, which for me, I'm engaged with. So I'm not like thinking too much about the quality. But I think maybe for you, it's a little different. Because if it's not like that interesting what's going on, then yeah, I can see like you'd see some of the cracks in the actual quality of the production, not necessarily of the writing, but the production itself is obviously way lower budget than it was on Netflix.
Yep.
And also they're definitely drawing parallels, like very overt parallels, between Wilson Fisk and Donald Trump. Did you pick up on that?
Yeah, it was a very political show.
Yeah.
There's even like, this is skipping ahead a bit, but like, to me, where I started like really getting like, what's going on here for this show? Artemis, god damn it!
Oh.
Go on, go.
She wants your food.
She's just being annoying.
Yeah.
There was a point where like they're in the car and like there's a hole in the ground, and Wilson's like, he's officially the mayor. By the way, he wins the candidacy. He becomes the mayor.
He won. Yes.
Okay, you remember that.
He's planning to outlaw vigilantism. Yes.
Yeah, and he goes into like stuck in a car, and there's like a hole in the bridge or whatever they're crossing, and he like gets out and says, "I'm the mayor. I'm gonna fix this." And,
yeah.
And the worker just like walks up to him. He's like, "I just can't. There's just so much red tape." And then Wilson Fisk is like, "Don't worry, I'm the mayor. There is no red tape." And like, it was just so that whole sequence was so cheesy.
It was very Trump, though. It was very Trump.
Yeah, I know, but it was so cheesy and stupid and on the nose that I just really just like that's where I really started. I don't know, like genuinely like just like, hated that whole interaction, and it's just
Yeah, and it's all for PR too. He doesn't really give a shit.
yeah,
And you kind of see his true colors obviously starting to show through other things as well.
yeah,
And again, they do this mirroring, right, where Matt Murdock and Wilson Fisk are both kind of like moving on from their prior lives. Fisk is no longer Kingpin. Matt is no longer Daredevil. They're trying to move on, but then little cracks start to appear, right? And one of them for Matt is when obviously he's dealing with these corrupt cops and he's beating the shit out of them.
mm,
And then another one of them for Fisk is when he's dealing with the police commissioner and he's overtly threatening his family so
yeah,
that he doesn't resign. Um, and like those bits, I think are more like interesting in what the show should focus on. The scene about the red tape and like you know the traffic being built up because there's a massive pothole like or sinkhole or whatever the fuck it is.
yeah,
And he's getting out and he's like, "What are you workers just doing standing here? Come on, come fill this hole." And they're just like, "Oh yeah, whatever you say, Mister Mayor." You know?
yeah, exactly. And I just hate, I don't know. I thought that was kind of dumb.
Yeah, and so essentially the first episode ends with us finding out that Vanessa is fucking some dude called Adam. Who the fuck is
Mm,
Adam? I don't know. But apparently, like Fisk acts like he's okay with it and he's not gonna do anything. But he wants to kill that fucker. Okay.
yeah,
Um, episode 2 starts with Hector Ayala, this guy, stepping in to stop people from beating up somebody in a train station. And while he's fighting them, one of them falls onto the tracks and gets hit, and you find out that they're cops. And that starts our arc for the next 2 episodes, pretty much. Um, we also see that Wilson Fisk has some scabbed knuckles, which he's probably been fighting some people, you know what I'm saying? Even though he's trying to
yep,
move on and be a better man.
yep,
Um, Matt picks up the case for Hector to defend him. Um, Conveniently, there's no security cameras on the train platform though. There's fucking security cameras everywhere, but because the show doesn't need us to know what happened, they don't want us to be able to use security footage for the defense. We have to conveniently make it so that in New York of all places, there are no security cameras on a train platform. Crazy. Um, and then we also they do these things throughout all the first 3 episodes so far. The BB report, right, where you kind of get like on the ground journalism from, locals in Hell's Kitchen, and it's done by this girl who is Ben Urich's niece. Ben Urich was the editor of the newspaper who was killed I believe he was killed by Bullseye. Could be wrong. He was killed
or
season 2 or
something,
season
yeah,
3.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, so Urich's niece actually sits down with Fisk. She's looking for a story, and so Fisk talks to her. Then Wilson shows up at the funeral of the cop that got killed on the train platform and talks to the commissioner of the police force. Is like talking mad shit. You know what I'm saying? He's like, "Hey, fuck you, buddy. Nobody fucking believes in you. Everybody knows you're a piece of shit." And then we find out that Hector is White Tiger. If you already didn't know who Hector Ayala was, he's the White Tiger. You know what? You know the one thing, I think it was in this episode, that made me laugh out loud because it kind of breaks your immersion in the episode, is when Matt and the other lawyer are sitting down with the judge,
the judge, yeah,
and and Matt's trying to prevent them from using the fact that he's White Tiger or bringing it up at all in the lawsuit or in the
mm-hmm.
trial, and the guy's like, "Oh, he's White Tiger, like he goes out looking for trouble," and Matt's like, "Yeah, but he didn't have his magic amulet."
Yeah,
I was just like, "What the fuck?" Like it didn't roll off the tongue in a way that like felt right. It felt so like it broke my immersion in the episode at that point in time.
yeah,
But yeah, the commissioner, he wants to resign because he doesn't believe in Fisk, and Fisk ends up threatening his family and will give him nothing and force him to stay on as commissioner. We also meet this girl Heather, who was set up with Matt on a blind date, and Heather is an actual factual comic book character, very different from this version of the character. She wasn't a therapist. Whereas the version in the show is, and it's another very tragic thing where eventually she found out that Matt was Daredevil. She had a personal grudge against Daredevil. They tried to make things work, and then one day he discovered her dead in her apartment. She killed herself. So don't know if that's going to happen here, but it could be very tragic, especially because we find out that Heather is also going to be Wilson Fisk and Vanessa's marriage counselor. So that's another twist in the tale. And then obviously at the end, right, Matt's looking for the witness, the witness from the train station, and he goes and tells him to run, and then the cops show up, and they want to fuck with Matt, and so you don't fuck with Matt. He beat the shit out of him, and we see a tattoo on one of them, kind of looks like the Punisher logo. And there are massive implications with that as well, because the Punisher does not like when cops use his logo. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it at all. So yeah. Anyway, I think that was it for episode 2. So at this point, are you out of it? Are you completely like you don't really care, or how are you feeling after episode 2?
At this point, like, it's still like, wow, things just feel really low quality. Like, that's like this. It's the only word I can think of is like it didn't feel like the same gritty Netflix show that I loved. Maybe it's because like I love the Netflix show too much. But I
It's
just
definitely
think
not
the
as
show,
gritty, like nowhere near.
yeah,
And I think
yeah,
when you put all this into context, even after episode 3, you look at the first 3 episodes, and you've had about 2 minutes max of Daredevil, right? Like Daredevil is not in this show, and I get they're
yeah,
building for something, right? They're gonna build for him fully relapsing, becoming Daredevil, and I'm sure to mirror it, Wilson Fisk fully also lapsing and just being Kingpin again. But like I get you have to build for that, but this show is called Daredevil, and we haven't seen any Daredevil, and I think that if I had to guess, that's probably one of the biggest complaints about the show so far. It's more of a courtroom drama than it is a Daredevil show, right? And I don't even
yeah.
mind that necessarily, but I think a lot of people probably do. So episode 3, you kind of start off with this implication that the underground is getting restless without someone to lead them. They start killing each other. We see that with the truck driving up, and then the guy's pretty much getting robbed and then murdered. And if you had a Kingpin there, or Vanessa even, to stop it, I think Vanessa had to take a step back because Wilson is the mayor, and now they're doing this marriage counseling thing to make it seem like they're trying to make things work. We also get some graffiti of the Punisher logo. Our witness, Mr. Torres, lies on the stand. He's a star witness, and so Matt ends up, throwing the spaghetti at the wall, doing everything he can, and reveals that Hector Ayala is the White Tiger to do this character witness building thing. And when he actually took the stand, I thought it was very, very moving. Kind of, that he's doing these things because they're the right things to do. And yeah, he ends up being not guilty on all counts. Wilson Fisk is not happy with that at all. And we end this episode with Fisk kind of doing, talking to BB, or whatever, BB Urich, and pretty much saying like, this guy murdered a cop, and, he's a vigilante, and we can't stand for all that stuff, and he's not going to stand for it, and, the rule of law and this and that. And he's going to follow through with his campaign promise of, criminalizing vigilantism and people who wear masks. Oh, Chair's internet just died, so he's not here. He's not here, guys. It's just me. I just saw, he texted me and said, internet died. Luckily, I'm hosting, so my internet has not died. So let me see if he's able to come back. Do you think it will come back? Question mark. Okay, all right. We're gonna stall, guys. We're gonna stall. While we're waiting, though, I know we're talking about Daredevil, right? The internet thing. It doesn't know if it'll come back. I'll finish up on this episode of Daredevil. Hopefully, he comes back and we can go over it. But if not, I'll just talk about it. So pretty much at the end, while Fisk is going on his diatribe, we see Hector putting the suit back on, even though Matt told him you can no longer be White Tiger because I just revealed your secret to the world. He puts the suit on. He goes out to try to save some people, help some people, and he ends up getting shot in the head. And we have to presume he's dead. Unfortunately, also the actor who played Hector Ayala in real life he passed away after filming the show. Anybody familiar with the comics kind of knew he probably wasn't going to make it very long. His niece ends up taking up the mantle in comics of the White Tiger. In addition to that, this episode made it pretty clear that even if he makes it out of the courthouse alive, which he maybe couldn't have, right? It's very possible he was going to get killed by a cop or something at some point. But even if he does, he'll probably not make it much further. So he ends up getting shot in the head at the end by someone wearing a bulletproof vest with the Punisher logo on it. And I think they want you to assume it's John Bernthal returning as the Punisher. I think it's probably a cop, again, using the logo, because we see other cops with the tattoo. And it's gonna probably result in the Punisher coming back, seeking some retribution. Hold on, I'm just texting Chair again. Or you can join on Discord on your phone? Question mark. So yeah, I think the Punisher will. Oh, he turned it off and on again. Okay, we're gonna learn if it worked. But yeah, I think the Punisher will show up seeking some retribution on some bitch ass cops. And yeah, so we'll get Chair's opinion on that. But something I was thinking about, right? Sometimes I get weird thoughts or start thinking about weird things when I'm in the shower. And I was in the shower yesterday morning after I went to the gym at like 4 a.m. And so I was in the shower and I was thinking about Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Oh, no, hold on. It appears you've been in a call by yourself. Hey, buddy, I don't care. Hold on, let me bring this back up because it made me disappear. I'll just let's just do this until Chair comes. Let's just do this. Here we go. All right, there we are. All right. Nope, that's the wrong one, guys. Don't pay attention to that cam, okay? There we are. Oh, he's back. He is back. He is calling me. Hello. I cannot hear you if you are speaking.
My internet just came back.
Oh.
Just now. Literally just started as I sat down and picked up my phone and started it on my phone. My internet came back. It was hell funny.
Wicked insane. So brilliant. So cool. Yep. So amazing. All right, we're back. Yep. There we go. Yeah.
Back.
I was just talking about the end of the episode. Oh. And we good?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
I was just talking about the end of the episode where Hector Ayala was murdered as the White Tiger by someone wearing a Punisher vest, and it's probably not the Punisher. It's probably a cop, and Punisher is going to show up with some retribution in mind to fuck up some cops using his logo for the wrong reasons. Yeah, and if you didn't know, Chair, I also revealed the actor who played White Tiger actually passed away in real life after filming. So that's also very sad.
Damn. I didn't know that. Rip.
Yeah. But in comics, he wasn't White Tiger for a super long time. Hector Ayala, his niece took up the mantle at a certain point, so I'm sure that'll also happen in this show, most likely. So, yeah, that's pretty much it. But I was also talking about these thoughts I had in the shower. And don't get the wrong idea here. Okay? I was thinking about Star Wars. Okay? And I know you hate it, but I was thinking about Attack of the Clones.
Okay.
And when you're a kid and you watch like the movies, you're just like, "Oh, cool, look at the planets, look at the cool lightsabers, look at the cool stuff," right? But something I was thinking about was how, and I don't know if it was intentional, right? You think about the intention of the director and like why things happen in the story the way they do, and most of the time it's because that's the way the story needs to happen, right? But I was thinking about, right, Naboo and Tatooine, and you don't want to know how I got here because it's another long stream of conscious I had. But eventually I started thinking about Tatooine and Naboo and Attack of the Clones and how juxtaposed it is, right? Because I was thinking about Daredevil, right, where Matt Murdock and Kingpin stories are mirrored. And then I was thinking about the word juxtaposition. And I was thinking about how Tatooine and Naboo are juxtaposed, right? We go to Naboo and it's beautiful and it's pristine and it's elegant and it's glorious and it's soft, and that's where Padme grew up. Like, that's what she knows. That's her life. And then we go to Tatooine, where it's rough and it's hard and it's sandy and it's disgusting, and that's where Anakin grew up. And just I don't know. I think it's a beautiful juxtaposition of these massively different things, and their worlds kind of intertwining. And even though I know you don't like the movie, I still think that's kind of beautiful, And I don't know.
Part of the movie. I mean, there's not wrong. Like, the last 20 minutes is like the best part of that movie, right?
Oh,
When
absolutely. Yeah, not
when the
even close.
clones are attacking and the Jedi are in the Coliseum, and like that's all cool. It's fun to watch. Like, the droid factory scene is cool, fun to watch.
Yeah.
The stuff on Kamino is awesome. Like everything with Obi-Wan is amazing, right? Like every sequence that Obi-Wan is in, like he goes to Dex. Like who's the most well-liked character from that movie? It's probably Dex, right? They introduce this guy from the diner that everybody just likes because he's like this fry cook that's traveled the galaxy.
Yeah,
But
and his
there's
name
good
is
stuff there.
Dexter Jetster.
Yeah. All right. It's legendary. He's a legend. All right. He's a legend. And he knows what Kamino and stuff is, even though like he knows more than a Jedi, right? He's just
Yeah.
cool. And so, with all that being said, there are good things in the Attack of the Clones. I just think
Mhm.
overall the bad outweighs the good, and I'd rather if all the Star Wars movies have said, "Hey, which movie would you skip when you're watching them?" Like, okay, someone sat you down and said, "Hey, you're allowed to skip a certain amount of movies, right?" The
Okay.
Episode 2 would be one of my first picks, because like there's too much bad between the good. Like even everything at the Lars Homestead and all that stuff is just
Mm,
I don't know, not my favorite.
yeah. My if someone said you have to watch every Star Wars movie, but you can skip two, my two would be the last two. Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, not the last two that came out. It would be Episode 8 and Episode 9.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
not
would skip
Episode 8. Maybe
I would skip 2 and then I would skip episode 8.
I think Rise
I
of
would watch
Skywalker is the worst Star Wars movie that's ever come out.
I think Rise of Skywalker is a shit show, but it's so much of a shit show it's entertaining to watch. How
Ooh.
hilariously bad it
I
is.
I think it just makes me angry now. I don't know why.
Exactly. Don't you want to be angry sometimes? You
No.
can go you should go be
I don't want
angry.
to watch something that annoys me.
Don't you want to be annoyed sometimes? Like
No.
hyperspace skipping or whatever the fuck that means as some random fucking dumb bullshit
I
excuse we need for our character for the whole thing
just
that other guy set up.
when Kylo Ren says to Rey, "You're a Palpatine." Ugh, I die inside. Ugh.
Yeah.
Fuck off. Ugh. You know, uh there's a movie that I really used to hate that used to make me angry that I actually think is a really good movie, and it's called Iron Man 3. That movie used to make me really angry just because of what they did to the Mandarin. But I actually rewatched it recently, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, this is actually a really good movie.
Mm.
So who knows? Maybe I'll watch Rise of Skywalker again and I'll say it's good, which doesn't seem to be the case because it was on in the gym one day and I was reading the subtitles and it just kept annoying me.
Mm.
So there's another thing I watched recently that I had a new take on. I don't remember what it was, but I remember I was like, oh, that's interesting. Oh, Andor, right? Because season 2's coming.
Yeah,
So
it
I
is.
I remember when I first tried to watch the show, the first episode was like hard for me to get through, and I remember thinking like the first couple episodes were not great, but then I was
Yeah.
rewatching it recently, and they're actually really interesting.
Yeah, they are
Like,
interesting, and like it builds up though. Like episode 1, yeah, it's okay. Episode 2, wow. Episode 3, whoa. Episode 4, wow. Whenever they do that like comet thing, and they're racing the comets, and then like that's just like the first couple episodes. Like the big heist that usually would be like one whole season. It's just the
mm-hmm.
first couple episodes. Like that's the thing about Andor, why it's so magic. There's a couple of things that would be like the prison sequence would be a whole season if it was a different show, but it was Andor, and they made it like just part of the stuff that he's going through,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. It like one of the things I was thinking about because so many people have said that The Force Awakens is just like a redo of A New Hope, and it really bugs me that people say that because they're like not the same movie at all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like people will just say stupid things like, "Wow, you have a desert planet." I'm like, okay, yeah. You want to count how many Star Wars movies have desert planets? Like,
Uh, all of them.
like you can say, "Oh, our hero comes from a desert planet and leaves and goes somewhere else." Yeah, that's also true of Phantom Menace and A New Hope and Force Awakens. Like, nobody's gonna say the Phantom Menace is a redo of A New Hope. Oh, and at the end they destroy a battle station, so it must be the same movie. Oh yeah, that also happens in Phantom Menace. Nobody said it was a redo of A New Hope, right? So like it's always like this very like surface level, no actual analytical skill whatsoever where you go, "Oh, the structure seems the same, so they're the same movie." Well, you know what else has the same structure of as each other? Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone and Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Same exact structure.
Yeah.
Same to a T. Like even like what happens to Harry's friends, like you can go to certain specificities, but they're the same exact structure. They're not the same book. They're not the same movie. And nobody says they are. But when it comes to The Force Awakens and A New Hope, oh, it's just the same movie done again with new characters. They're not even close. And even thematically, what they do, it points in an entirely different direction than what A New Hope did. I'm not going to tell you it's a great movie. I'm not defending the movie. I think it's a fine movie personally, but I'm not defending the movie. I'm just saying it's not A New Hope.
Yeah. It's not.
It's a ridiculous argument. Anyway, um, yeah,
Yeah, no, I heard some of my gaming buddies in that Star Wars game I play argue that. Like, I usually like just let people yap and like so I like to listen to their opinions, and then I like just express my own like and just like really quick snippets. Whereas like and
yeah,
just the opinions are pretty normy. But yeah, a lot of people like I've heard the like structure just like the original movies. Like it's all nostalgia bait before, and for me that's kind of like I don't know. It's always been a meta thing in Star Wars. Is like the Force like keeps things repeating in cycles or whatever, kind of like what they explained in Kotar too. But maybe that's just a little too meta of a concept for most people. I don't know.
sure. But even then, like, even if you go, yeah, structurally they're very similar or they're whatever, like that's true of so many things. Like, if you look at the structure of a lot of stories, it's the same,
Yeah.
right? And even little specificities, but like think about Harry Potter. Think about it. Like Harry goes to school. At the end, he fights Voldemort. Like one of his friends, his neither of his friends make it to help him fight Voldemort. They get held up in some other way, shape, or form, right? Like they're the same structure. Odd things are happening during the school year, and Harry's the center of it all. And at the end, he fights Voldemort. Like they're the same exact structure, but the details are very different, and what they mean is very different, and the direction they're going is very different, and that's how you know that they're not the same exact story. I don't.
Yeah.
Like for everything where you can say, oh, this happened in this movie and it also happened in this movie, so they're the same. You can say, well, this happened in this movie and it didn't happen in that movie, so they must be different. Like, but people only focus on the very surface level thing. It's kind of annoying.
Yep.
Anyway,
You're not wrong.
yeah, Daredevil. I'm enjoying it. I think that it has this tenseness that keeps me engaged. So that's where I'm at. But you're in a different place, and that's okay too.
Yep.
So, anyway, what you have anything? You have anything else? Anything else to talk about?
No, don't abandon cats. Daredevil so far to me has been a little mid. I think maybe the expectations were too high. And Star Wars are great. Pick and choose which ones you like. There's enough for everybody to, and don't be all mad and like threaten to kill George Lucas' entire family. Maybe that'd be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, real quick, rapid fire opinion on them casting a black actor to play Snape.
I don't really care.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
There was also a Variety article about George Lucas. Before he sold Star Wars to Disney, he wanted to make a TV show, and every episode was going to cost around $40 million to make. So we can talk about that next time. Also, for anyone interested, Kraven the Hunter is now on Netflix.
I gotta watch that shit.
I will be watching it to review. I watched recently Venom: The Last Dance. I recorded my opinion on it, but I didn't release it yet. I'm saving it in case we skip a week here or there.
Yep.
But yeah. I actually quite enjoyed the third Venom movie. I thought it was pretty decent. But yeah, if you want to talk about Kraven, well, we can talk about Kraven.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm gonna watch it at some point. It's because I'm anticipating it's gonna be awful. So
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah. Anyway,
I do want to see it though, so we'll have to see.
Yeah, it is on Netflix as of today. So anyway, like, comment, rate, review, subscribe, share your thoughts. Tell us what you think of Daredevil, why we're wrong or right, or you hate us or love us. We don't care. Anyway, bye. Much love. Bye. See ya.